or into your desk. Thomas, please make sure you have a pencil. If not, take care of it quickly. Thomas Brendan, sir. Oh, Joshua, thank you. Cara has a pencil. Brian has a pencil. Gregory, we set? Please open to a fresh page. Miss Miguel. Esmeralda. Yes, on question.
I didn't finish my other stuff about
We're going to get to it, don't worry. Thank you, Blessing. You need to be ready to go. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, eyes are seeking the board, please. So something I've been noticing with you guys, Dominic, eyes are seeking. Something I've been noticing with you guys is that we went through our notes. And after we went through our notes, we were organizing our chapters. But I was noticing when I was reading your work and we were doing conferences that when a lot of us got to this point of drafting our chapters, we used either very similar examples to the ones that Mrs. Maffey was using, or we used the same type of beginning for all of our chapters. And so let's look really quickly at the ones that I used. The first sentence, read with me. What if you could walk when you were born? Let's look at chapter 2. Every giraffe is different. Now let's look at chapter 3. Giraffes are plant eaters or herbivores. So what kinds of beginnings do you see in my work? Can you turn and talk to somebody next to you about the beginnings you see me using in my writing? Go ahead. And back to me in 3, and 2, and 1. Who can raise their hand and share with me what they shared with their partner about what they were noticing in my beginnings? Isabel? It kind of sounded like I was talking to someone. I didn't just say, giraffes are cool. I was like, hey, what if you could walk when you were born? So it almost sounded like you could hear me speaking, right? And as an author, don't we want our voice to come through in our writing? Awesome. Okay, who else can share? Maybe 2 more friends. Yes, Juan.
you only use one part, like when you like kind of talk, and the rest like you give facts.
So he's noticing that there's a little bit of my voice like I'm talking to you, but then I make sure I'm really focusing on my facts, because nonfiction writing is about what? Facts, like real life stuff, isn't it? And so I want to make sure that's in there so that I stay true to my nonfiction book. Very good observation. Last one for me, Blessing.
When you're doing the chapters, like the first sentences, like they're kind of talking about what the chapter is you're going to read.
So Blessing's noticing also that each of my opening sentences has to do with what that chapter is going to be about. Like I don't start with something about giraffes drinking water in the what giraffes look like chapter, right? So I make sure that my sentences and the way I begin matches the content. Great observations. I also heard over here at table 3 that they noticed I started a different way in each chapter. Did you guys notice that each chapter starts just slightly different? Okay, so I want to focus today on how great writers can look at texts or books that they love to get ideas. Sometimes when I'm writing and when I'm starting a new book, I kind of like to use question beginnings. But then I notice that I use question beginnings all the time, and my chapters start to kind of sound the same. And so I want to read you 2 examples that I was looking at for how I'm going to draft my chapters for today. And then I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to get some ideas together for yourself. So the first one that I was looking at for today is called Your Fantastic Elastic Brain. I want you to be listening for the beginning of this, and then I'm going to need you to talk to the person next to you about it. What does your brain really do? Well, yes. Does it fill the space between your ears? But your brain can do so much more. Turn to somebody next to you and talk about what you heard there. All right, back to me in 3, 2, 1. What did you guys hear? What did you guys notice? Ashley?
That they were talking to you.
So there was like talking, right? You heard their voice maybe? What else did we hear? Gregory?
Instead of a brain, you say your brain.
Ooh, so they like kind of try and draw you in, don't they? It's like they're talking to who? You. They're talking to you, the reader. Directly to you. They want to kind of draw you into their book and make you read more. What else did you hear, Thomas?
It started with the question beginning, and it also sounded like the other was talking to us because there's also feel like he's like, well, yes, but then he says something like, when I'm having a conversation with someone, and I say, well, yes, then that's something.
So he almost kind of answered his question, didn't he? Like, what does your brain really do? Does it fill the space between your ears? Well, yes, but it does so much more. So it's almost like they answer their question as well, right? So questions like, did you know? You can also answer those questions for your reader as you draw them in. Now, next one is called Bats. And I love this author, Gail Gibbons, because when she writes nonfiction, she always adds in really cool text features and illustrations as well. So let's listen to her beginning. Bats dive, swoop, and swerve through the dark night sky. These creatures are nocturnal, meaning they are awake at night and asleep during the day. Talk for a second. What did you hear in that one that was maybe All right, back to me in 3, 2, 1. What did you guys hear? I heard some excited conversation between you guys. What did you hear, Jocelyn?
That she was giving you clues, and then you needed to see which animal it was.
Sorry, what was the last part? She was giving you clues and what?
And she could ask you which animal it was.
Ooh, so she didn't come out and tell you what the animal was, maybe? She was like trying to give you clues about it? Okay. So like clues about your topic, that could be really cool to read about. It's almost like a mystery. Amen?
She's telling you some good facts about the bats, like it's nocturnal.
Nocturnal. So what kind of a word is that? Like when we're not quite sure what it is and we're trying to learn about it?
It's
Do you remember what that was?
text feature.
So text features are what kinds of, like how do they make a word a text feature? How do they do that?
They use 2 words and put it together.
Kumi, do you want to help him? Like maybe a vocabulary word, right? So a word that maybe we put in bold or that we underline, and then we use what within the text to figure out what it means.
Context clues.
Context clues, right? And so we're doing that for our readers as well. That's kind of clue. Cool. So we can use vocabulary to begin as well. I am going to give you, at your table, about 5 minutes. And I need you to look at some of the nonfiction texts on your table, because writers, they look at texts that they love to get ideas. And ways that we thought about beginning ours together were questions like, did you know? And then answering the question. We can talk to our reader. We can give clues about our topic, and then we can also use vocabulary in the beginning. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes to use a nonfiction book at your table, and I want you to look at the way that they're beginning the nonfiction books. And anything that you notice or that you like about it, go ahead and jot it in your writing notebook today so that you remember that as you begin drafting. Take the next 5 minutes, choose a nonfiction book at your table. Boys, quickly. How are they starting there? Like, did they use some of the ways that we did, or did they try something else? What about that? Jot that down. Okay, and then you can switch that up.
There's penguins in Africa.
Who's there?
Guys, I want you to seek me, please, because Jocelyn and I found something really cool, and I thought it was so cool that you might want to hear about it as well. So, she picked up this book about tsunamis, and we turned to the first page, and it starts in such an amazing way that I thought you guys all might want to know. So, this says, find the truth. Everything you are about to read is true, except for one of the sentences on this page. Which one is true? T or F? Elephants helped clean up after a major tsunami in 2004. T or F? Most tsunamis are caused by tornadoes. Find the answer in this book. So how is this book starting out that's completely different from the ones that we just read? Jocelyn, how did this author begin?
It started with a true and false question.
With a true and false, like quiz almost. I've never even seen that. How cool. So today, when I'm drafting, if my chapter 2 is kind of starting out boring, I could start out with a true or false quiz, couldn't I? How cool would that be, right? Okay, I want you to look at the books on your table and see how they're beginning. And raise your hand and let me know if you find something really cool and unique as well that maybe other people might want to try in their work. Right?
It's like a boat.
Because when you're drafting today, that might be something you want to do. You might want to start reading chapters of the book, right? That would be really neat. Share that. You do? Awesome. What's this author doing to begin their chapter? Facts about sharks, but also what? Questions, right? So like questions and facts combined, right? Okay, so go ahead and write down the title of this book, which is Sharks, and then they used facts and questions, right? like more? Like the way that they began in this paragraph and this paragraph, which one kind of draws you in more? Why? So how did you use that in your work today?
Yeah, nailed it.
Nailed it. How does Kenny find
Yeah, why don't you jot that down so you remember as you're drafting? I think that would be really helpful. Ooh, how cool would that be, right? Did you use that in your writing today? I love that. I can't wait to see that, especially the illustrations. That is so cool. Very cool. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
I found a couple more really interesting ones. One book started with a joke. Like, really neat. If I was a reader and it started with a joke, I'd be like, huh, this author's kind of funny. I'm probably going to keep reading their book. And then Giovanni's book over here was really neat. It started with a contest. And so it's a book about sharks, but it's like, who's the weirdest, who's the smallest, who's the creepiest, and who's the fastest. So not only did they use illustrations in here, but then they made it a contest, which would be so neat as a reader. So for today, guys, because we're all at different stages in our writing process, blessing pencils down. We're all at different stages in our writing. Some of us are drafting our chapters, some of us are waiting for our conference with Ms. Maffey, and some of us are working on our final publishing steps. But I want you to remember what we worked on for today, and that's that you can look at texts that you love to get ideas. Every chapter can be different. And we saw some great examples today. We saw some jokes. We saw a contest, which is so cool. And then we saw a quiz as well. And so these are things that you can use as a writer in your own writing. And if you get stuck, you can look at the text that you have on your table, Gregory. You can look at the text that you have on your table to get some more ideas for your writing. And you can add it in to make your book more interesting. So you guys are going to pick up where you left off from yesterday. Please remember to look at texts you love for ideas for starting and adding to your work today. Go ahead and begin. I will come around with your publishing work.
Can you show me your notebook? Can I see what it looks like?
It looks like this.
Yeah, but like what kind of notes have you been taking? What does your work look like for your research project? Okay. Oh, those are the notes you took on your book? Okay, that's a lot of notes.
And we got some pictures.
Now, were those your own drawings, or did you find them in the book and draw them? How did you do the drawings? Oh, those are your own as you were taking notes? Very awesome. And then have you started drafting yet?
You mean the hospital or the school?
Okay, awesome. So you took your notes and this is how you're starting to draft? Really cool. Thanks for showing me. That looks awesome.
All right, we should be set up with our materials in about the next
Can I
minute,
look at your
and our
notebook too?
chatting should be finishing up, because in order for me to be a great
nice.
writer, my voice needs to be
So that looks like you already, like the writing process, right? Do you have notes for how you took your notes before you started writing? Is that in your notebook too? Can I see those?
I started with asking questions for my first topic.
Oh, okay, I like that.
No,
And that was you picking your topics? Oh, those are very different topics.
and that's
Okay. And which one out of your topics, what did you decide to go for?
I decided to go for this one.
Oh yeah, that's a really intense topic, huh? So you're doing a lot of reading to learn more about that? Very interesting.
That's why I
I learned about the history and I learned about this.
And about his life. So yours is going to be a little bit more serious when you write, huh?
And I love how I see people continuing to publish.
Wow, I'm really glad you're exploring that topic. Thanks for showing me.
Joey. I knew that was in there.
Hey, set it down.
I was
Thank
going
you.
to bed.
Sure. Okay, so can we add that in and be like a little bit more specific? Okay, because if I don't know anything about this topic, I don't know where that would go, right? Okay, so maybe we'll put a little star here, and we can add that in about where it goes, and even maybe what it looks like. Like a black and white symbol could be an X like this, it could be a cross, it could be a circle. So do you want to describe to the reader a little bit more detail about that symbol? Because it sounds like it's kind of important. Is it? Okay, so we're going to put a little star here, and we're going to put details and publish, then it's gonna go right in. Have you guys? What is that? So the after picture, so I was confused about that, right? So can you add that in, like the after